So get this, on average, American workers spend 156 hours a year engaged in workplace conflict that impacts, both performance and health. That's according to research conducted by the authors of a new book coming out next week.
It is called How to Get Along with Anyone, the playbook for predicting and preventing conflict at work and at home. Joining us now, one of the authors of the book, Jim Guinn. He's a clinical assistant professor at Texas A&M University at College Station. It's great to have you here, Jim. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much for having me.
So in your book, it's supposed to be this playbook to help us navigate all of these interpersonal conflicts that we have in daily life. Give us first some examples of some of the situations you're going to help us resolve.
Sure, absolutely. So I think both conflict in the workplace and conflict at home. So identifying the different triggers and the different things that set us off and make emotion and reason not function in the brain at the same time.
You know, you've done so much research on this. What are the biggest misconceptions people have about conflict just in general?
Sure. So many times we want to jump in and fix it right away. We want to go after the issue and we don't take a step back and see who the person is that we're dealing with and what their personality profile is.
And sometimes people just want to avoid it altogether, and then that lets it build resentment and fester. In your book, you talk about there's 5 different conflict personality styles. Walk us through those. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the first is the avoider. That's somebody that avoids conflict, not because they're scared of it, but because they don't want to deal with it until it's to the point where they have to deal with it.
It's draining.
It is. So we kind of have that default. And second is the competitor. That's someone who wants to resolve it quickly and fast. And if they're upset, you're going to know about it and know what they want.
And then the analyzer?
Absolutely. The analyzer, that's someone that takes a step back and they want to see everything. They want all the information. Then they make a decision, and they are stubborn, very stubborn.
And then there's the collaborator. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. That's someone that wants to know every single facet of conflict. They want to dive deep. They want to resolve it right away and really get after it.
And then finally, collaborator. And
analyzer.
Analyzer.
Yeah.
Are there any styles that are better than others?
It depends on the situation. So we focus a lot in the book about best teammates and worst teammates. And so some profiles
Wait, what was that?
Best teammates and worst teammates. Okay. So some profiles work much better with some versus others. So for example, you don't want to be a competitor with an accommodator. That's going to really set someone off.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I'm thinking about this, and we both have kids. You know, do these sort of 5 personality types, do they play out in children?
Sure, they absolutely do. And I do have 2 beautiful daughters, so I can't pretend that they work as well on my daughters because they know me as well. But,
like, Dad, we know you're like,
they know the tips and tricks, but absolutely, specifically some of the techniques involving voice, identifying what things are going to trigger before they happen.
Wait, voice, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
What are those tips?
Sure, absolutely. It's one of the biggest things that people cannot hold a higher tone of voice if they feel connected with you for longer than 30 seconds. So a lot of times using what we call the voice technique and really slowing it down, really making that good eye contact, that's going to lower emotion, even in teenagers.
What is one great tip you can leave us with on how to resolve conflict?
Sure. Biggest thing is the detour technique. So there's never a conflict only about one specific issue. So many times we get so focused on one, we can ask a question and move to the other topic.
Our guy, Jim Guinn. Jim, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate your expertise and your time. We got to try this.
Really appreciate it.
Stay with us, folks. You are watching NBC News Daily.